Vince Russo comes in about a month or so after TNA debuts basically. And it always strikes me as odd that Jeff Jarrett and Vince Russo were so pally with each other because you think to look at them, you'd think they'd be on opposite ends of the spectrum philosophically in wrestling. But memories of Vince Russo coming in, what did you think he brought to TNA, and were you a fan of Vince?
Well, I was looking forward to working with him just because he did have a creative mind. You can't take that away from him. But of course, I heard just like everybody else heard. WWE, he had a filter with Vince McMahon. In WCW, he was given free reign. Although there's a lot of behind the scenes that we didn't know of, that he was battling with the corporate. But I still felt like he had something to add to it. And yeah, he was close with Jeff from WCW days. And so in TNA, yeah, I mean, I felt like he was brought in, and I think his heart was in the right place. He wanted to make things work. Even though some of the ideas may be crazy, not every one of us are going to come up with 100% great ideas. I mean, there's going to be some flops in there. But I was looking forward to working with him. I think a lot of the younger guys were, because he had been known to try to work with the newer younger guys. So yeah, I mean, I was really looking forward to it. I had, I don't want to say prior experience, but there was with the WCW, he was riding a lot at that last year. So while he wouldn't remember me, I knew that, but he was still around. I got to kind of watch him work a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I looked at it as a plus, and I think a lot of other guys did too. Maybe those that had negative experience with him maybe were not, but like I said, we were all on board with this thing and wanted to take it as far as we could.
Did Vince take a particular interest in you and James in the early days? Do you remember him? Did he ever sit down and have a chat with you, to figure out what you guys were all about going forward, or anything of that nature?
No, I mean, I can't remember the dates exactly, but I know we were going to be featured as the tag this after the tag team was going very early. I mean, nothing set in stone. But I remember when he came aboard, yeah, we were off TV for a number of weeks, and we were still showing up. I mean, I remember writing out, even taking the time to write out some ideas to give to him, and I don't know if he read them or if he threw them away. Who knows? But we were still pushing to get in there, and yeah, he just hadn't. I don't know if he just focused on other things. I'm not sure, but no, there was a time where Vince kept us off TV. He didn't have a lot of interest in Storm and myself. So we were off for a while. And then finally there was enough, I guess, nudging and enough pushing that they wound up giving us a dark match at one of the, I guess it would have been pay-per-view at the time in Nashville. So we got a dark match. And the way that, I mean, we had the match was great. But I think what really noticed was the reaction from the fans, because Storm is homegrown talent, and I had spent so much time in Nashville that they were just waiting to see us again, and so the fans were behind us, and I think that really took notice. And from that dark match on, we were back in the eyes of Vince and the writers, to where, okay, let's take advantage of this and let's run with it. So I didn't like being off TV or the pay-per-views for a number of weeks, but when they gave us the dark match, we were like, okay, here's the crack in the door again. Let's bust it open.
Absolutely. With Vince Russo, where did Ed Ferrara and Disco Inferno sort of slot in? Were they, did you have much action with them, because they at certain times were like almost as co-writers or subordinates, or that kind of thing, to feed ideas in as well?
I think Ed was there from the beginning. So I think he was. Now, he wasn't there long, so I didn't have a long-lasting relationship with Ed, but he was there in the earlier days. I think helping with the writing. Vince was head writer, and if I can remember right, I don't think Disco came in until later on. So in those early days, it wasn't. I don't think he really had involvement in it. However, I believe he was close to Vince, so he was probably in Vince's ear to maybe run some ideas off. And if you know anything about uh, Glenn Gilberti, man, he's notorious for just hammering some ideas in there to where he can make the worst idea sound like it's the best thing around. So yeah, I can only imagine some of the ideas he threw at Vince, and maybe Vince used them. Who knows?
Well, we never saw Bill Ding, the evil architect. I know that. Did you ever hear of any of Disco Inferno's classic ideas that never made it to TV?
I probably had. I can't. Nothing comes to mind right
No,
now.
that's fine then. I always like to ask this as well about Vince Russo. Some of his more interesting match stipulations that he came up with over the years. Do any of them stick out in your mind?
I know he liked putting things on a pole.